Hi there, welcome back. So straight into it for today's video. We've got 4 lovely round wooden coasters that we're just painting here. Now this is white acrylic paint that's been watered down just with a little bit of water and just applying it to the coaster using just a regular paintbrush. Now, if you've got household paint, you could, of course, use that as well, but make sure it's suitable for wood. Now, we did a couple of coats. It did sink into them quite well, and we also did around the sides, but we've left the bottom blank for a reason. Now I'm going to put some painter's tape, which is the blue tape, across the bottom here. There we go. Just making sure it's all completely covered. I've sped this up a bit because you don't need to sit and watch me trying to coat the back of coasters with blue painter's tape for ages. But yeah, so just covering them up here. And this is just to protect the coaster, the underside, because at this point I wasn't sure if we were going to leave them just plain wood, maybe just give them a little bit of clear varnish or a bit of a clear wax coat to them, or if we were going to put some cork backing on. So you'll see later on in the video. So there we go. We've covered the whole of the back of it, thoroughly smoothing down the tape to the underside, and then just taking a pair of scissors and just trimming it up all around the edge there. Now the only thing we did find was that the wood grain did rise slightly because we'd painted it. If you're not happy with that, then just smooth it down with some fine grit sandpaper and it will go nice and smooth again. So I've put on my gloves, I've put on my sleeve protectors or arm protectors. I've got 3 stir sticks, I've got 3 mini silicone jugs, and I'm going to use these delightful coloured micas. So we've got a green and a mauvey purple colour. We've also got some white dye pigment paste and some clear Tea Expert resin. So Tea Expert is the name of the brand of the resin. That's just our brand of choice currently. We're not sponsored by them. It's just the one we like using. It's a little bit thicker than your usuals, but you can use any that you so wish. So just decanting some of the resin into these 3 silicone mixing jugs, trying to get them equal, trying. Because at this point I was thinking I was going to do either the equivalent of a tree ring pour in acrylic paint pouring or a dirty pour, which is also something you may have seen if you watch acrylic paint pouring artists. Spoiler alert, neither of them worked very well at all. So we go back to the drawing board, but you'll see what I did. I think I've saved them, and the effect at the end is still really quite good. So I love these mica powders. Obviously you can use whatever colours you wish. You don't have to paint the coaster either if you don't want to. If you want to leave that natural wood effect to come through the resin, because it may show up. But we wanted a white background for this. So just quickly mixing it. I don't mix that quickly. This has been sped up this bit. One tip given to me by the lovely Jules at Resin Jules was if you smooth out the mica across the surface of the resin and then mix it in thoroughly, like I've been doing there. So thoroughly mixing it in, and then just decided that these 2 colours were a little bit too vivid for what I wanted. There we go. So just added some of the white resin paste or dyed paste, pigment paste, and it's brought down the tone. It's not quite so vivid. It's more, I don't know what you would call that, just a very, very pale green, more of a pale apple green, like the skin of the old golden delicious apples, if you know that particular type of apple. There we go. So did the same thing as again with the mauve one, just brought it down a little bit. Looks really lovely. And of course we do need to now make up the white, so just gave it a good squidge. I do love that word, squidge, of the pigment paste into the resin, and then just thoroughly mix that. Made sure it was really well mixed. No little trails, no little ribbons of colour, all thoroughly one colour. Nice, good, opaque colour. So as usual, everything we've used in today's video will be linked in the description box below. So I haven't shown you the 2 fails I had because it was painful. All I've done is added the 2 different colours, so the green and the purple coloured resin, to the surface of that coaster. I'm resting it upon a couple of like little plastic shot glasses just for ease of use. It also means that the resin that goes off the side doesn't stick to your surface and stick the coaster to it. Now this is a good 48 hours later, completely dried as you can see. And what I've done, just to bring it in line a bit and to tie it in with the aesthetic I like, which is a little bit of gold, of course, I'm using the Deco colour pen, and I'm going to go all around the outside of it, as you can see on that one in the top left. And there we go, look, I've started doing that one. And then I decided to go just on the inside round the top as well, just to give it a bit more emphasis. So just to tie in the gold into the rest of the coaster, I just felt it needed a little something. So Wayne actually came up with the idea of putting some veining in, but you'll see that in a moment. So this is just a time lapse of me doing the sides of one of the coasters using that lovely Deco pen. And if I haven't said it already, everything we used in today's video, wherever possible, we've linked in the description box below. Hello, if you've joined us for the premiere. Hi to everybody in the live chat. If you've just joined us because you've seen us on YouTube and you're not subscribed, why not subscribe? Give us a thumbs up, a like rating, give us a share, and hit the notification bell. So what I'm doing here now is that veining using a very, very fine tipped brush. Now I think these brushes are actually supposed to be used for nail art, and all I'm doing, the gold paint is actually the same thing that comes out of the Deco colour pen. So all I've done is done a few pumps to the right hand side of me on the table with the pen, you can probably see it in the bottom right hand corner, and then dipped the end of that brush in it, and then just carefully, very lightly painted on that veining. But you can see that there in those four finished pieces there. So this is over to Wayne now. Well, Wayne very kindly did a flood coat of resin for me over the top of them once all the gold veining was completely dry. And now what he's doing is just one way of removing the extra resin that obviously you don't need, that's from the flood coat and from the initial resin pour on these coasters, that's gone underneath over the top of that blue tape. You do need to remove it. The coffee stir sticks, those two little wooden sticks on the left hand side, were actually to balance out the coaster because for some reason it just wasn't level. So he's heated it up using that heating tool, just lightly, just gently. It wasn't hot to the touch or anything, and carefully peeling off this additional resin, these little lump bumps of resin underneath. Now, if you don't want to do that, then don't. Take a sharp craft knife, and actually then you'll have to carefully cut them off. Now that, obviously, please be careful if you're going to use a craft knife. I would highly recommend not doing that, and actually just doing this, what Wayne is doing. Do be careful when you're pulling off or removing these pieces so that you don't pull off the rest of the resin coating, because you'll end up pulling off the gold as well. Now what you should do before you apply the cork, self-adhesive cork, which we decided to do for this rather than leave it completely natural wood, is sand it down completely. Unfortunately, we didn't do that, so you've still got a few little bits of leftover resin on show there. Now this self-adhesive cork that goes on the bottom of coasters, it's very easy to use, but it's very thin, so it's a bit tricky, a bit fiddly, as you can see, removing the backing paper from the sticky part. Now make sure that you've already lined it up before you put it down, because to be honest with you, you're going to get one try only once you've smoothed this down. There we go. So as you can see, some of the other bits of resin are still on show. We will just go back round with one of the gold pens and just touch it up a bit. So there we go. So Wayne's just pressing it down now all the way around, all around the edges, just making sure it's thoroughly adhered to the coaster itself. Now of course you don't have to apply these, you can just leave it with a natural wood backing, and if you decide to do that, make sure you've thoroughly sanded, very fine sandpaper, so you've got rid of all the additional resin bit that might have crept underneath the tape and so on, and then apply some wax or maybe some varnish. So here's the final shot, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed this video, a bit shorter than usual. As I said before, you know, sometimes our videos are a bit shorter. We will be giving another one coming up on Wednesday of this week. I think it's another coaster one. So don't forget to hit the like, share and subscribe button. See you all again soon. Bye.